Tropical Weather News Bulletin, Atlantic hurricane season peaked but still quiet. Good day to all our viewers tuning in to the weather news program. We are very pleased to be with you again in this familiar time slot today. Thursday, September 11th, 2025, a particularly important point of the year, as we are now moving through what is considered the very peak of the Atlantic hurricane season. Typically, in early September, the global weather map would be dotted with brilliant colors on satellite imagery, representing major hurricanes forming, tracking across the ocean, and sometimes making landfall with strong winds and heavy rainfall. Yet, contrary to the usual fears of coastal residents and the expectations of meteorological experts, this year the weather picture appears rather calm, with hardly any significant tropical cyclones active at the moment. However, this calmness does not mean we can let our guard down, as several areas still show potential risks that must be monitored closely in the coming days. First and foremost, attention is focused offshore of the southeastern United States, including Florida and the northern Bahamas. Satellite imagery has detected a band of developing convective clouds, accompanied by widespread thunderstorms and occasional low-level spin. Meteorologists classify this as a weak low or a non-tropical spin. But if favorable conditions emerge, such as higher moisture levels, reduced wind shear, and persistently warm sea surface temperatures, this area could evolve into a tropical depression within the next few days. Currently, development chances remain low, but because of the proximity to land, this disturbance requires close monitoring, given its potential direct impacts on Florida, the Bahamas, and the southeast U.S. coastline. Meanwhile, the Western Caribbean, stretching from Jamaica and Cuba to Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula and particularly Belize, has seen increasing thunderstorms. This results from tropical moisture convergence from the south combined with strong southwest monsoon flow, bringing locally heavy rainfall in recent days. Forecasts indicate a surge of moisture that could spawn small-scale spins in the next few days. This is not unusual for September, as the Western Caribbean is often regarded as a late-season hotspot for tropical cyclones, frequently generating strong hurricanes that later move into the Gulf of Mexico or northward. On the broader Atlantic map, multiple tropical waves continue emerging from West Africa into the open ocean. These are the primary source for Cape Verde-type hurricanes, which typically strengthen around this time of year. However, at present, they face a significant obstacle: dry air and Saharan dust, SAL, spreading across much of the tropical Atlantic. This dry layer acts like a shield, absorbing moisture and causing convective cloud systems to weaken, thus suppressing storm development. Still, forecasters caution that this dryness will not persist indefinitely. Once environmental conditions shift, these waves could develop more vigorously during the second half of September. That is why no one can afford complacency, even if the skies appear tranquil now. Global forecast models, such as the European ECMWF and the American GFS, are already hinting at the possibility of a new tropical system forming within the next 7 days. The certainty remains low, as factors like mid-level humidity and vertical wind shear continue to hinder development, despite high sea surface temperatures. For this reason, experts are adopting a watch closely, but no confirmation yet approach. In other words, the scenario of a storm forming next week cannot be ruled out, but there is not enough evidence to confirm it either. Regionally, rainfall remains a major concern. Florida, the northern Bahamas, and Cuba are experiencing high precipitation totals, with some areas recording over 100 millimeters, 4 inches, in just 24 hours, leading to localized flooding. Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic are also facing scattered showers, with probabilities ranging from 30 to 60%, along with lightning risks. Central America, including Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, is expected to endure a prolonged spell of heavy rain through the weekend, heightening the risk of flash floods and landslides. In South America, Venezuela, Colombia, and Guyana are also seeing moderate to heavy rains with a frequency of 50 to 60%. Smaller Caribbean islands such as Barbados, Grenada, St. Lucia, Dominica, Antigua, and St. Martin may only receive scattered rainfall at 30 to 40%. Yet given their limited land area, such amounts can still disrupt air and sea transport. In the eastern Pacific, off the coast of Mexico, a new tropical disturbance is forming and is expected to strengthen into a tropical depression or even a storm within the coming days. Most models suggest this system will remain offshore, away from direct land impacts. Nevertheless, forecasters stress caution, as similar systems in the past have unexpectedly shifted track to make landfall in Mexico. Flooding and landslide warnings have already been issued for Pacific coastal regions, including the greater Mexico City area. Expected rainfall totals range between 75 to 100 millimeters, 3 to 4 inches. Enough to trigger localized flooding in low-lying areas. Back in the North Atlantic, Bermuda, Nova Scotia, and Cape Cod are seeing scattered thunderstorms, though most activity remains offshore. With limited land impact, the Great Lakes region and central Canada are expected to face additional rain in the coming days. Offshore, Atlantic waters and Canada's maritime provinces are reporting elevated waves and slightly rough seas, affecting marine operations. Finally, an important highlight of today's bulletin, the fall outlook for Canada. The latest analysis indicates that temperatures across most of Canada will be above seasonal averages, especially through the early and mid-autumn period. This means residents can expect a warmer than usual start to the season. On the Pacific coast of British Columbia, however, temperatures are forecast to remain closer to normal due to the moderating effect of the ocean. Rainfall across most of Canada is projected to be near average, though coastal British Columbia stands out as an exception, with wetter than normal conditions expected. The reason lies in unusually high sea surface temperatures in the Pacific, which are expected to fuel frequent low-pressure systems carrying moisture inland, setting the stage for a wetter than usual autumn. Of particular note is the signal of an early winter taste, with cold air outbreaks potentially sweeping into central and eastern Canada later in the fall, bringing chilly days ahead of the official onset of winter. As for hurricane activity in Atlantic Canada this fall, forecasts suggest fewer than average storms, but it is important to remember that a single major landfalling storm could still cause severe damage. Authorities therefore continue urging the public to closely follow forecast updates. To summarize, although the Atlantic is currently subdued thanks to widespread dry air, key areas such as Florida, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, and offshore Mexico remain hotspots to monitor in the week ahead. Meanwhile, Canada is heading into autumn 2025 with above-average warmth, near normal rainfall overall, but with the possibility of early cold spells and unpredictable storm impacts. We will continue to update you with the latest developments in upcoming bulletins, helping you stay informed and prepared. Thank you very much for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this forecast so more people can stay updated. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next program.